I got a bit heavy-handed with my large bar clamp and broke it. So here it is here, and you can see I've broken the lever that you clamp up with, and I've also broken this screw mount here and this screw mount here. These aren't so bad, I can just glue those back together, but I'm going to have to make a new one of these. So first thing we do is we just glue it together and get our shape back together for the lever. Once that's done, I put it on a piece of paper and I trace it and create an outline. There's the outline. So with this outline, I now bring that into Photoshop, and effectively I just use a smart wand, and what I want to do is create a silhouette, basically everything inside the line. I want that shape because that will be the exact size once it's scaled correctly to what the trigger is. So using the magic wand and the magic of computers, I've created this silhouette. So now what I need is I want a tracing of that to be able to import it into a CAD program. So what happens is I import that into a program called Inkscape, and to do a trace is very simple in this program. You just come up here to path. We want to send it to the object path, and we go trace bitmap. So we want edge detection, and we update, and there it is. It's done it. You go OK, and then we delete. So there we go. We've now got a trace. So I'd save this as a SVG file, as that creates all the path information that I want that I can import into, but I'm only going to be using this to sketch over. So now that that's all done, I come in here to my CAD program and I say, okay, let's just go File, Import. We import it. We want the geometry, and there we have our shape. So with this shape, what I can do now is I can go into the sketcher and sketch over this. So what you would do is you'd come down here to sketch and just create a new sketch on that plane. Now I know that this radius here, this is 28 millimeters. So what we do is we create a circle and we say, let's make the diameter of that 28 millimeters, which means it's 14 millimeters a radius, and then we can just move that to where it's got to be. Over there we go. It sort of sits there. So now I've got the right curve for here, and the radius for the center there is the axle of this is going to be 8 millimeters. So that's 4. So now I know they are positioned right because they're relative to the curve that I've got here, and everything's going to be built back off that. So long story short, this is what I ended up with after drawing it. They're all just basically circles that I then created curves out of the circles that used those radiuses and created this shape. Now once I've got the shape, what I can do is I can extrude it, and I create trigger, the lever, sorry. So we just take that lever and export it. Whoop, we export it as an STL file for the 3D printer. Now that we've got it exported as a 3D printer file, we bring it into our slicing software and print it. So you can see that I'm printing it here as a honeycomb type. It's what they call a 30% fill honeycomb. Almost finished, doing the last layer now. It's closing off its surface. It took about an hour and a half to print. Turned out pretty well actually, almost identical. Not bad for a beginner. So time to assemble it. The assembly was actually the hardest part of the whole thing. I'd overlooked a couple of tolerances. But it ends up you have to put it back together with the bar in place. But here, the first test, pick it up. And there you go. All tickety-boo, working again. Final assembly. And the clamp's been restored using 3D printer technology.